We wanted to know what's next for John Hickenlooper after he walks out of the governor's office for the last time.
We also wanted to know what he sees as his greatest accomplishments while serving our state.
I try not to look back as much as I'm trying to look forward. I think my biggest accomplishments are right in the near future. You know, the first 4 years I went to 60-some funerals. I mean, between returning military personnel who were killed in Afghanistan or Iraq, between the shootings in Aurora, the fires, the floods. I mean, it seemed biblical that this happened. Almost every month something else would happen that would be even worse than what had happened before. And I grew up in my mother was widowed twice before she was 40. So her second husband died when I was 8. So I grew up in a house that had experienced a lot of grief. And my mother was brilliant and had amazing courage in just encouraging all of us to find our own happiness, our joy. It was our duty to our deceased fathers that we had to create joy wherever we could find. She didn't care whether it was academics or sports or school, whatever. And I think that training, in a funny way, prepared me to kind of be the consoler-in-chief through that period where so many people experienced the worst things that ever happened to them beyond anything they could have ever imagined. That's not a great accomplishment, right? I'm proud that after the flood we got the roads opened up to Estes Park and got that whole valley opened before the snow fell, which no one thought we could do. There are lots of achievements like that we did, but the real accomplishment there was going through a period which any business or any state, any city, you're always going to go through some periods where it's really just feels like fate is against you. I think we've come out of that stronger than ever, which is, that's kind of the leader's job, is to make sure as you're going through something like that, you don't give up, you don't quit, you keep up your ambition, you keep your eye on what you're going for, and then you'll get there.
So once you walk out of here as Governor Hickenlooper and become former Governor Hickenlooper, what are your plans? What's next for you?
Well, I'm going to take a month or two just to decompress. It's like if you've been, underwater at a depth for a long time, if you come up too fast, you get the bends. So I'm going to have to decompress slowly. I think I'll probably go back into business. I think that, my plan was to do 10 or 15 years into public service. I never thought I'd ever be the governor. But I think that it's hard to predict. When I was a geologist, when I first came to Colorado, I thought I'd be a geologist my whole life. Price of oil collapsed, ended up opening the restaurant. Oh my God, I was much better at the restaurant than I was a geologist. I did that for 15 years. And then all of a sudden I kind of got talked into running for mayor. Wouldn't do any negative ads. Everyone told me I had no chance of winning. We won, 2-1. Turned out I was much better as an elected official than I was running restaurants. So I hope there's one more act out there, one more scene where I think it'll come out of, I won't even see it coming, and hopefully it'll be something I'll be even better at.
And you would think after an almost 40-minute interview, we would have heard everything that we thought we would have heard from the governor, and as soon as the camera was off, we heard the best story, I think.
About how he was vetted for VP candidate under Hillary Clinton, a possible VP candidate, which she has now been outruled on. But right. I thought it was fascinating talking about that, how he was taken to a New York hotel and he was sitting there with, 5 lawyers, did he say? High-powered lawyers? High-priced lawyers.
That was trying to find everything that was ever wrong in his business history.
Every piece of dirt.
And I think the best story was that he was asked, have you ever been sued in any of your
right.
business dealings? Who would be upset with you? And he said, I've never been sued. And like the big poobah lawyer that was overseeing everything said, well, that can't be right.
Right.
So they're trying to find the worst thing that you would see on a political ad, essentially.
Asked how many illegal immigrants he had employed. Just every personal possible question that could be considered a flaw in his character.
So now it's official. He was in the running for vice president.
And it seemed like he was relieved that he's no longer in the running.
I can imagine after having that kind of exam.
Exactly. And then some.
If you have a question or a segment idea, tweet us at Denver7Politics. And you can watch anytime on the denverchannel.com/Politics Unplugged.
Thank you so much for joining us.
See you later.